All right, we are live. Welcome to the 5th episode of Comic
X
X.
Weeb.
Hell yeah. I am Comics for Cheap, aka James, aka Little Spit Shine Did Your Mama's Booty Hole Good. And I got my co-host with me.
I don't know how I can top that, but it's your boy Chris, aka Black Santa, aka Super
Ooh, I like
Cold Water.
I like
Album
that.
coming out in 2028. So gear up, get ready. It's coming.
2028. Bro,
It's
that's
coming.
7 years to make one album. What are you, Joyner Lucas on his first album?
Bro, this is one of the hottest albums to ever be released. This is basically gonna be like it's gonna be like the stuff that Nas was putting out back in the day with the ether and all that. It's gonna be like all of Jay-Z's blueprints. It's gonna be like the Carters from Lil Wayne. It's gonna be like Eminem's Curtain Call. Oh my god.
It's gonna be like Detox though, because it takes 7 years to come out and it still hasn't come out.
I don't need you disrespecting the process. All right. Just enjoy it and understand it's coming soon.
Yes.
I got shareholders, bro.
Coming soon. Shareholders. It's a publicly traded album. Oh my god. Well, anyways, we have much to discuss this week, including but not limited to the Planet Hulk / World War Hulk storyline. I'm very excited about, and everything else. And this is just for those of you who are new, podcast where we talk about everything pop culture, but mostly comic books and movies and manga, anime covered by Chris. He's our the weeb part of the ComicXWeeb. And where are we even going to start today?
I don't know, but honestly, I want to hear about that story.
Okay, all right, so we'll start with that. We'll just go ahead and start with that. So a new interesting development in my life, Chris, is that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I have a comic vendor who wants to fight me. Just okay, all right. So yeah, just take that as is. But let me share a little context with you. So recently we were down in South Carolina, and this was in the really small venue that I have the YouTube video up for now in Greenville. And during our time there, we made a joke, Justin and I did, that I was his sugar daddy, basically, and that we were gay or whatever. Okay. So then this particular vendor, who I don't even know his name or like the name of his store or anything, and I didn't say anything bad about his name or the name of the store because I didn't know. But basically he said, "Oh, you can't say that in South Carolina. You get killed for that." And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you get lynched for that." And I was like, "What?" So needless to say, we didn't buy from this vendor like at all. Maybe like one thing that Justin got or something, but we just kind of and kind of moved out of the way. And so when I posted my YouTube video and I was doing like the voiceover kind of director's commentary kind of, I just happened to mention that he made, didn't mention his name, didn't mention what his booth was called or anything. Still don't know.
Nope, you didn't.
And just said that he had made some inappropriate remarks and just kind of told the story later in the car when we were sitting there and just kind of explained what had happened. So I don't know how he found the video. Either another vendor sent it to him or, whatever, something happened. But basically now he sent like or commented on the video or whatever. He's basically like, "Oh, thanks for the degrading words," or something like that. "You ass clown." He's like, "I'm gonna see you bright and early in the parking lot in Hickory."
Wow.
And then I get a text from another vendor, and he's like, "Apparently this dude wants to fight you." I was like, "Okay."
Bro, I hope this dude understands. We on that Riverside, so he messing with you, he messing with me, as well as. My biggest question is like, how old is this dude? Is he like a real older dude or a younger guy?
I'm not gonna sit here and say he's an old man or anything. Certainly older than us. I don't really know. Again, I didn't pay too much mind to this guy. Like I didn't sit here and be like study. He's on the video. I could go back and see what he looks like again, remind myself. I knew where he was located more than anything else in the video. So yeah, I don't know. Like it just seems awfully odd that I didn't say anything. I didn't disparage his name or anything like that. Just mentioned that he had said some very questionable things while we were at the convention and that we didn't really buy from him. So if anything, if he's going to fight me, he's fighting me for being bigoted. Right? I mean, like we made a joke that we were gay, and then like I was his sugar daddy, and then he said you can't say that because you get lynched in South Carolina. I'm like, okay, whatever, and move on. So now he wants to fight me because I told that story.
It's just like I asked the age thing because it's like, all right, if this dude is older, are you telling me you have nothing better to do than start a fight over a joke? Like that, I mean, is it really that serious?
No. Apparently it's serious, Chris. Apparently I have to come strapped to the
that man whole family. Apparently, you done slapped his kids around. You done bet his wife. I mean, damn.
I got to come strapped to the Comic-Con now. Apparently, so we got to roll up heavily armed like the Punisher in this bitch.
What's beef, man? This dude's sitting here like he said it's on site. If this homie see you in the streets, he's just gonna walk up to you and say it's time to throw fisticuffs. He see me in the parking lot. It's on site like an eye doctor. Oh my god, man. This dude really needs to relax though. Like it's not that serious, bro. We got way more important things to worry about in this world. Like again, like just things like the Tiger Woods thing. The simplest thing can end your life, like anything can happen, even though Tiger lived, but anything can happen that can instantly end your life. And this dude is getting mad at something that does not concern him. Y'all didn't make a joke at this man, y'all didn't disrespect him. But yeah, he wants to come out here and act like he's big and bad. Most people like that though, they just talk. He
might be the only sugar daddy in that county and he got jealous, says Captain Comics.
It's a good point.
He could be. I don't know.
You might have made him jealous.
You can't be a sugar daddy around here. I'm the only sugar daddy around here.
He saw you flossing that money and stuff, and he was like, "Bro, I don't have that. I got this comic shop and everything, and I'm still broke. Man, I hate this guy. He's taking over."
The Ian Lopez show says, "What is this? High school?" He said he'll be waiting for you outside the cafeteria.
For real, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know, but I will be bringing my Punisher knife just in case because I'll have Alexis with me. So if he really does want to throw down, it'll just have to be, he'll just have to get stabbed. I mean, I don't fucking know what to tell him. Like, yeah, I got my girl with me. You ain't about to fucking run up on me with one of my chicks here. It's about to be like the baby in the streets of Charlotte, just shoot you right outside of Walmart, son.
She's just ready to go. Alexis like, let's do this. I'm ready to whoop some ass. Like, it's just on.
It'd be funny if I pulled out a knife and Alexis pulled out like a chopper and she's like, "Oh, really?" I was just like, "Where were you hiding that?"
Exactly. She's like, "Don't worry about that."
Yeah. Don't ask any questions and you won't get shot.
She's like, "Remember that comment you made on, I think it was episode 1 or 2 about you can beat me?" Yeah. Okay.
What's up, Lozano? Yeah, apparently a vendor wants to smoke with me, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I'll definitely be recording at all times just in case, if something does pop off, because that will make a very tasty YouTube video, let me tell you. Someone just needs to shout World Star and it'll be good.
Oh my God. It definitely will, but brother, honest to God, just be safe out there and don't let this fool go you in anything stupid.
He'd be if he does come up, I'll be like, this guy's giving out free Spider-Man comics, and then run away. So everyone just kind of crowds around him. What? Who's giving out free Spider-Man comics?
Bro, I'm going to be extremely pissed if I'm going to have to take time off to head down to South Carolina to pay this man a visit. Extremely angry. Like, it's going to be on, bro. On like Donkey Kong.
On to the break of dawn. All right, so that's the exciting news and development in my life there. But I will be going to HickoryCon regardless. I'm not going to be scared off by this man. So that's this Saturday, and that should be fun. We'll be taking Alexis, and we will be enjoying that. And then the next Saturday, I will be flying into Detroit, and Justin and I will be driving into Columbus, Ohio, where we will be attending a convention in Columbus. And we are meeting quite a few people there. So we are meeting Columbus, and we're meeting Tyler from TM Comics, and then Justin's got some buddies that are coming with us as well. So that should be a good time there. Probably not too much else to do in Columbus, Ohio, besides go to a Comic-Con. But you know what? We're gonna have some fun.
That's true. That is true. That does sound like that's gonna be pretty fun, though.
At least it's not Cleveland.
At least it's not Cleveland, because there's nothing to do in Cleveland. Man. LeBron knew it was time to go. He was like, I don't want to be. I'm gonna go to LA. I'm gonna go retire and spend the rest of my time in LA. I know every time someone says Detroit, I guess it's the sports in me. Every time I hear Detroit, the first thing come in my mind is Detroit basketball. Like that's the first thing that comes in my mind, dude. Like it always do. And the second thing is like Eminem's from Detroit. And the third thing is like Detroit kind of sucks.
Yeah, well, apparently, according to Justin, Detroit has cleaned up a little bit since its reputation. I don't know how true that is. I know that they just basically give out cars and houses for free in Detroit, so it can't be that great.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, there are a lot of rappers who made it out of Detroit, and that's because that was really the only way to get out of Detroit back in the 90s and early 2000s. That's for sure.
Shout out to Big Sean too, man. That boy's a beast, man.
Big Sean, Royce the 5'9".
Yep. And the key thing is, I don't think those guys go back. I mean, they obviously go back, but I don't think they live in Detroit at all, though.
West Side Story, singing, dancing in the parking lot over comics. Yeah, if someone gets stabbed in the ear with a pencil,
Stabbed in the ear with a pencil.
Yeah, man. Haven't you ever seen West Side Story? Come on now.
I have. I'm just saying that is.
Collector's News by Ronnie G says, cool, cons are back. Yeah, shows are starting to trickle back in. Obviously, it's very limited as far as vendor space and how many people they're allowing into the shows, temperature checks at the door, everyone's masked up. But yeah, at least, shows are coming back. So that is a glimmer of hope into the future. More and more people are starting to get vaccinated. Whether I'm not going to get into whether or not you believe in the vaccine. I'm just saying that, stating a fact, more and more people are getting vaccinated. And, the numbers are starting to dwindle down just slightly, I guess. But even though the death rate is still pretty high. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed that we are starting to return to a new normal out there. And we can start going to shows and meeting up with people and partying like we used to on a more regular basis.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Like I can see that's starting to happen. But you always have that little bit of worry that you just don't know if it's still too soon. You never know, man. But of course, you got to do something. But it's just always the worry of like, man, I just hope this doesn't backfire. That's all. It's always that little worry.
Yeah,
but a lot of cool things is happening because My Hero Academia showed off their trailer for season 5. I'm super excited for that.
All right,
it's gonna be some real cool stuff. It's gonna come from that. Huh?
When is that coming out?
It should be out, like, if I'm not right, I think it's next month. I gotta look at the trailer again. I think it's actually debuting next month. It should be, or at least it's really, really soon. In like a couple of months or whatever. But I gotta look at the trailer again. I think it showed at the end. But I'm very excited for that because I read the manga and stuff, and I'm further ahead than what the anime is gonna be showing. But the anime is gonna show some really cool stuff. And as fun as the manga is, it's always cool just to watch the anime and actually see how that stuff actually happens and see and plus you're able to add more when you're doing an anime too than what you can in a manga because it's just drawings and you have to get hit specific spots and plot points. But in the anime, you can kind of drag things out a little bit more and make fights way more grandiose as they, would normally be. So I'm so excited for it.
My Hero Academia is one of the more popular, if not the most popular, manga stories. Because I've heard of it and I'm not as into manga as some people are. But give me a quick synopsis, if you would, of what the story is about.
Well, My Hero is literally like their version of DC and Marvel superheroes, just more obviously anime and more Japanese focus. And then the anime style, obviously, like these guys have their superpowers are called quirks. And like one of the guys, Shoto, his power is he has a mixture of fire and ice. And he's able to
like a
use the
Trojan
fire or
condom?
use the ice, huh?
Like a Trojan condom?
Yes, something like that. Except for
does he shoot the power out of his dick?
No, but we do got a guy who basically shoot laser beams pretty much close to out of his dick. It looks like he's humping you when he's shooting his laser beams out. So
this is a show I can get behind right here. I'm sold. That's all I needed.
So that's something, but it's crazy though, because obviously with anime, it's not going to be. It's like the thing I like about My Hero is every episode is very interesting. I'm usually not the biggest fan of like the episodes where it's not too much things happening. It's just nothing but dialogue heavy, or it's just like a slice of life episode or whatever, where you're just like they're out there just playing music or just having a normal regular day. Like I kind of want things to kind of progress. I watch that. I still watch it, but I'm not the biggest fan of those. But My Hero always makes it interesting. And like Shoto, real quick, with him, what's really crazy is his father, Endeavor, who was always jealous of the #1 hero. And he always wanted to be the #1 hero. He felt that the best way to do it, if he can't do it, is to have a child who can do it. So because of his jealousy and his passion to make sure something becomes #1, he got into a forced marriage, and you can kind of tell where that goes on. It kind of gets really dark later on, but Endeavor eventually, I'm not going to go into spoilers really, but it's really cool. And I mean, it's a great anime, and Endeavor does eventually become #1. But again, I'm not going to go into too much of spoilers and everything too crazy. Gotcha. But it's great stuff.
Well, at least that part sounds kind of like in Kick-Ass when Big Daddy trains Hit Girl to be like the #1 assassin, basically.
Right.
And just like all the stuff that he does with her, like when he shoots her in the chest while she's wearing the Kevlar or whatever.
No, it has a lot of things. It takes a lot of stuff from American comics and do its own style and its own way of it. I actually think you would like My Hero because of just the storytelling and the fact that you'll see a lot of things and be like, okay, it'll make a lot more sense to you because of the comics that you've read and the stuff that you've seen. You'll be like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, and it would really hit you, because that's what makes me like it so much, because of the comics and the American style that they kind of do there. Even though, again, it is taking place in the Japanese setting, like one of the biggest guys, All Might, he was trained in America. So there is like America heroes too, even though it's all in Japan and #1 hero. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're #1 hero in of all, because there's the heroes in America and probably in other countries as well. So it's just it's a freaking awesome anime. And I do think it's one of the, if not, like you said, in terms of the newer animes, it's probably the most popular. But it's definitely one of them, up there with like Demon Slayer and a couple other ones. But it's definitely up there. Like it's to me, it's the best of the newer ones that's come out the last like 10 years or so. It's definitely been my favorite one.
Sweet, awesome. I will have to. Is it on Netflix? Do you know?
Ooh, that I do not know.
I'll have to take a look and see.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look and see on that one. I know, because obviously I watched it on Crunchyroll. But I'm not for sure if it's on Netflix. Actually, I think some of it is on Netflix, but I don't know how many seasons are, because Netflix kind of iffy with that. Sometimes they'll have like a whole bunch of stuff anime wise, and then sometimes they have like 2 episodes, and that's like it. So
okay.
I'm not really for sure.
To give you like a tease to get into it and then take it away.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, I'll have to check that out.
Yes.
What I did get to go over a little more in depth this last week is what is now one of my all-time favorite storylines, Planet Hulk and World War Hulk. Now we're talking.
Did I tell you it was going to be that? I told you.
Absolutely.
You would love it.
You did. This was a couple of years ago. You told me to read it, and I was trying to find it, but now I have the app on my tablet, and it's a lot easier just to blow through comics. And then with everything technology wise, it's just so much easier to access content now than it was even just a couple of years ago.
Which is crazy how we're progressing.
Yeah, definitely. But this story was insane. absolutely one of the craziest stories of all time. And having read it now, I am even more angry at how they nerfed it during Thor Ragnarok.
I kept telling you that over and over. That was my biggest issue. One of my biggest issues. I didn't like the whole buddy cop thing that they pretty much was playing with Thor and Hulk. But that was one of my biggest issues with that movie, is that they basically teased it in a very bad way. Because like a bunch of the trailers was basically showing that off, like, oh, it's about to be on. This is about to be crazy. But then what really got me worried, I remember telling you when I first saw the trailer, I remember telling you, I was like, what worries me is the fact that even though that scene looked really cool with Hulk screaming and looking like they're in the arena and things about to pop off, they kind of made it come quickly into a joke the way Thor responded. And I was like, remember, I was like, man, that's worrying me. Yeah. And then look what it ended up being. Nothing.
Right. Yeah. So just to kind of recap through it. So basically the Illuminati, the Avengers Illuminati, decide that Hulk can no longer be on Earth. He is too much of a threat.
Much of a danger.
He's too much of a danger, too much of a threat. He just can't control himself. So they tell him that he needs to go fix a satellite and basically construct this ruse in which he's like, we need you because really you're the only one who can go out into the elements and survive. Send him up there, and then once he's done, they just send him away. They see you later, Hulk, just out, and he falls through a wormhole and ends up on Sakaar. And then on Sakaar, obviously, he becomes a gladiator, or not becomes a gladiator. He's kind of forced to be a gladiator. Fights his way to the top, and basically people start worshiping him because when he bleeds, it grows life on this planet, which I thought was really, really cool, because all this time it's like the Hulk is a destructor of, whatever. He destroys things. That's what the Hulk does. But now here on this planet, he brings life to the planet, which I thought was a really cool like twist. Basically, it's like it's completely
they made
different.
Sure Yes, because they definitely made sure because sometimes it's kind of weird, but I feel sometimes they make you kind of somewhat forget the whole, he's a nuclear thing walking around. He's kind of his own nuke with all the radiation and stuff he got going on. And they kind of use that, like his blood, which is mixed with all that crap, can actually on other planets have different effects than what it would have on our planet.
On Earth.
And I thought that was really cool. And his path to getting worship, though, was not an easy one, because they hated him. They could not stand this dude, and they was looking for reasons for this dude to fail. Spoilers alert for anybody who hasn't, read this or seen the movie, just in case.
Yes, just in case. Spoiler alert. But so I mean, I thought it was really cool that you found. I didn't know Silver Surfer was a part of the story. I thought that was really dope. That Silver Surfer comes into play. They were like, because Hulk knew Silver Surfer. I don't think any of the other ones knew. But Hulk was like, "What the hell are you doing here?" Like, so that was kind of cool. Just a little cameo of where he had been, and so he eventually leads the people to a revolution. First, he doesn't want anything to do with it. But everyone's like, he is the sign, he is the person, he is the revolution from the Red King. He does it. So he's just like, all right, let's do this. And become the leader himself. And falls in love, which was pretty cool to see. Finds true love, is about to have a baby, which is really cool. And then boom!
Boom goes the dynamite, and not in the way that Hulk wanted it to be. Boom goes dynamite. Those guys put a bomb in this man's ship.
It's a nuclear reactor core in the ship that goes off and obliterates almost everyone except for his little team, his little squadron, I guess, that he
some
has,
of them live. Yeah, some of them
including
live, but unfortunately
his Meek. That he had sent into the city or whatever to do something. So he loses his love, he loses his baby, he loses all of these people that worshipped him, and basically like he had brought into freedom, and it was now a free civilization. All of that is gone now, and it's just Hulk yet again, just all by himself, all by the lonely. And this leads to a pretty pissed off Hulk. I would say the angriest we had seen Hulk ever.
Yes, I think so. And this is definitely the argument a lot of people look at and say this might be the strongest Hulk too, because of just all of the anger and rage that has built up. It seemed that it like times 10, maybe even times 100, and this dude was like, "No, every single one of the Illuminati, they're all going to pay. I am going back to Earth, and it's
to pay."
On.
Yeah. So he's like, "Yeah, fuck this. We about to throw down."
Yes. This is legit beef, 100% on site.
Yeah, 100% on site. Goes back, doesn't even go to the Earth first. He goes to the what is it called? Like the blue side of the moon, or whatever, the blue moon something. Like it's like the moon that has oxygen, basically, that they can set up little camps. It's used a lot in X-Men stories. That's why I can't remember what the name is. But he goes there first and runs into Black Bolt, and this is like
about his powers with speaking.
Right. So this part is like one of the first times I've gotten chills reading a comic in a very, very long time. Like since I read Spider-Man Blue, like a long, long time ago. But Black Bolt is like, basically the Hulk is like, all right, y'all are gonna pay for what you did, etc., etc. You can come with me the easy way or the hard way. Either way, you're coming with me. And Black Bolt's like, he whispers, he's like, enough. And that just kind of like blows him back a little bit. And then Hulk is like, I didn't come to hear you whisper. I came here to hear you scream. And I was like, oh my God. Because Black Bolt, like, actually screaming is enough to pretty much obliterate definitely like a moon, but maybe even like a planet, I think.
Yeah, in certain stories, it obviously it depends on the writer of the stories, but in some of his most powerful feats, he has blown up a planet with his like really screaming at basically max capacity. So in certain stories, he does have the ability to actually blow planets up. Like he's not something to just
that's not a small feat.
No,
so
not at all.
But we all know how this is going. Hulk is quite angry and wants to hear him scream. So Hulk ends up victorious as he proceeds to show all of New York while dangling his body, which was kind of cool. I don't think he killed.
That's always
right?
badass when like the person wins and he like dangles the body, or he has like their head. And he just like dangles that in front of everybody. It's like, all right, throws that right in front of the lap of who's supposed to be the most badass dude. And it's like, okay, who's next?
I think that's why I really liked how they presented Killmonger in Black Panther. Because like when he's done, he's like, "Is this your king?" Like he just kind of like that's just such a badass move to be like, "Really? This is what you got? What else you got?" Like, and so for Hulk to just hold up Black Bolt and be like, yeah, I'm coming for everybody else too, just to let you know, and proceeds to just like go after everyone to try to round them up into Madison Square Garden to hold his own Gladiator Olympics, because he's like, I'm going to do to you basically what you did to me, so I'm going to force you to fight like they forced me to fight, which was really, really cool. And nobody stood a chance. Like he was so angry and upset that like really nobody could get in his way. Not Reed like bearing the Sentry's powers. I think at one point he tried to do that. Not Johnny Storm. Wipes out all of the X-Men in like 2 pages. Like he ain't messing around with the X-Men. He's
he runs straight through those boys. He just shows right up at the institution, and it's like it's on.
He I don't think he messed too hard with Charles Xavier. It wasn't like pity that he showed him, but he was just like, yeah, you probably wouldn't have been the one to send me away type of thing. But he still was like,
it was one of those things where it definitely was one of those things where it's just like, you're not the one who would probably really, really do that. So you just seeing your boys and you're basically your family on the ground suffering and beat up, that's going to be enough for now. But I might come back.
Right. There was one other person I feel like he showed a slight amount of mercy to, but I can't remember because I think he actually like came back as Banner, but only to trick him or something. He played it like really, really smart. Because I know this was like, that was another thing about the Hulk. So usually Hulk, when he rampages, he's not really clear-headed or thinking or anything. But this Hulk, who was so angry, he was actually like strategizing how to defeat each opponent. Especially like with Wolverine, where he was just like pounding his head over and over again. He's like, I can't beat you. I can't get through the adamantium. But guess what? Your brain can only take so much against the adamantium. Right. So that like just like little things like that he was plotting and planning was really, really cool to see. I can't remember who it was where I think it was Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was basically trying to bluff and say, bro, I could just wipe you out right now with a snap of a finger. And Hulk was like basically like tricked him, came back as Banner, and then was like, psych, and went back to the Hulk and broke Doctor Strange's hands. He's like, no, and took him with him. And basically, the only person who could go blow to blow with him was when the actual Sentry showed up, like for real.
Yes, when he showed really up, cool. Things changed. It comes across as like the fight was basically a draw to a degree, but I really felt that the Hulk pretty much won that fight, but it kind of comes across as like it was somewhat of a draw, the way some of the characters were kind of saying how things went down. But Sentry definitely did a much better job than anybody else did. Like he came in there, he was giving blows to the Hulk. Like those boys was going back and forth. It was
enough power that their hits and blows were like knocking stuff over. They would like it could literally have leveled the entire city, which was really cool. And I will say about the Sentry, because I don't know too much about that character really outside of what I mean,
he's basically their he's 100% their version of Superman in so many ways.
That's what I've heard,
for their twist. Their twist is to make him kind of crazy. So having the split personalities and all that stuff, and having the other being inside of him and all that. But he's basically their counteracted to Superman 100%. Even with the S on him, like Superman has the S on his chest and all that stuff.
Even more than like Blue Marvel.
That's the thing. Blue Marvel is also, I mean, they got a couple of actually people who you could say is kind of clones of Superman, but Blue Marvel's another perfect example. I love Blue Marvel. Like real quick, like
there's a lot of people that were thinking that Blue Marvel might show up soon because he is the love interest of Monica Rambeau.
That's what I'm like. I would love that. And the thing about Blue Marvel too, though, like, I mean, personally, I think Blue Marvel, I think Blue Marvel's stronger than Sentry. Like, I really think he would beat Sentry. Just some of the stuff that Blue Marvel has done in the past and all of his powers too. Because yes, he's somewhat of a clone of Superman, somewhat of a clone of Superman too in terms of powers, but he has so many other things going for him as well. With some of the radiation stuff that he can do.
What's up, Armando?
What's good? Plus the he can also shoot things. Like he's a little different than Superman in a lot of ways, but he's basically a clone of Superman too, to be honest with you. But he just has a lot of other things going for him where I feel Sentry is way, way more Superman clone-ish. It's just again, he has like the split stuff going on and he's like crazy or whatever.
Gotcha. So he's really the only one. So after the Hulk makes the superheroes fight each other with the obedience disc and Tony Stark has to hack into that, blah, blah, blah. So then the Sentry comes in and they're exchanging fights, basically just exhausting themselves. And to the point where Hulk does come back down to Banner.
Yeah, he basically drains out for the fight.
And then I think they were like trying to say, we get the point. We're going to try to work stuff out, blah, blah, blah. And then it's revealed. And of course, again, spoilers, if you're like me and hadn't read it all the way through to this point, but that Meek was the one who detonated the ship on Sakaar, which was crazy because in the movie, what are Korg and Meek? They're one's a little comedy relief, and the other one doesn't even have lines. He's just like a bug that is carried around or whatever. So now it's a lot different in the comics. So
Yes.
Meek is like, basically, you had lost sight of yourself as a warrior, and I was trying to get you back into that zone. This is ridiculous that you're gonna let yourself do it again, and then goes to stab him, and Hulk is like, no, or no, I'm sorry, Rick Jones is like, no, and pushes Banner out of the way, and then gets stabbed himself. Now, Rick Jones, for those of you guys who don't know, has been like down with Hulk since day one, basically like his best friend, his best supporter. He is the reason that the Hulk is the Hulk, because Banner pushed him out of the way of the initial blast in Hulk #1 and took to the gamma radiation himself. Always been down with the Hulk and on his side no matter what. If you ever see him throughout comic history, there's not a single time that he is not on or not in the Hulk's corner.
Like
so
a
basically,
Jimmy and Superman type thing.
Yeah. Except he never tried to collect Hulk's tears or anything like that. So
I swear to God, Dave, bro, we about to fight, bro. Like, oh my God, bro.
So basically, Rick Jones gets stabbed, and well, you had just gotten him calmed down to Banner, and now you just killed his best fucking friend. So Hulk just goes absolutely apeshit again and turns into an even stronger World Breaker Hulk, and is basically like, y'all better stop me because I'm about to destroy this entire planet. Which he probably could have. I mean, he was just like, it says that he was stomping his feet or whatever, or pounding the ground, and like you could feel it all up and down the eastern coast. Right. I don't see why that he wouldn't have been able to feel it all over the world. Like, he probably could have just flat out taken out the world at that point.
Right. Yeah, I would think so. Definitely the more angry he's getting, because what made him kept getting stronger and stronger, he kept building up on more and more rage. Like, yeah, his best friend died. It was also him remembering the reason he's there, his friends and his girl and his unborn child is dead. Like, all of that just kept building up and making him stronger and stronger and stronger. So yeah, I 100% agree with you. That dude would have destroyed that planet if that,
And then they get him down again and then take him out to the desert and put him underground, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then like kind of that's where it kind of leaves off. And I know that goes into Jeff Loeb's Red Hulk run from that point on. So but yeah, no, just absolutely one of the best Hulk stories that I've read. Period, hands down.
It's probably my favorite. And
probably one of the best comic stories, hands down.
Yes.
I've read a couple of the tie-ins as well, just to kind of see the tie-ins. It was at a weird time where for artists, I guess, but some of the tie-ins, the artwork is shoddy at best. So I guess it was a time in Marvel where they were just giving anyone, or like with the spin-offs. The actual story itself, obviously, very, very good and well put together as far as artwork and everything like that. But some of those little side stories or whatever, it was just like, this is not that great as far as the artwork goes. I mean, I get the point for where it fed into the story, but some of it is just like, oof, this is a 5-year-old could probably do a little bit better than this.
Maybe, but like, seriously, that what you said earlier is the perfect way to explain it. It's not just a great Hulk story, it's one of the best stories in Marvel. Like, it's an awesome story that people really, if anybody who watches this video, what you can take away from this is you need to read that. Like, if you're gonna read something, read that, because that displays the Hulk in such a great way, where it's not just Hulk's being showing all the oonga boonga, I'm just gonna smash everything stuff. It shows a more emotional side of Hulk too. Like, it 100%. Shows the sensitive side of Hulk. It shows the anger. It shows the wrath. It shows the strategic side of Hulk. Like, it shows everything that most stories of Hulk is literally him just ooga boonga everything. where you just waiting for him to show up and just break everything up, and that's basically going to be it. He's going to destroy this, destroy that, beat somebody up, and then somebody either somebody bigger or badder is going to knock him out for a period of time, or he's going to run out of gas. It's one of those that's going to happen. But this story was totally different, where it showed so many different sides of Hulk. And that's why I said it's my favorite Hulk story, because it shows everything you want to see in
just
Hulk.
The writing was just, yeah, exactly. Like you said, I was about to bring up the dimensional thing. So a lot of times when they write Hulk, it is very one dimensional, but the writing for this whole story, it was just like, it was very thoughtful and put together and just, oh, it was so good. And tonight I'm probably going to watch the animated Planet Hulk that's on Disney Plus. I've been waiting until we did the podcast because I read the story again, and then I was like, I need to watch the show again now, knowing the real like in depth of it. So I'm gonna do that tonight for sure.
Yeah, that's something though. Like it makes you think too. Like, do you agree with what they did to him, like sending him away because of the threat that he can be? Do you think they was right to send him away, or do you think they was wrong to do that because he is kind of their friend?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of messed up to send him away without even like explaining like, hey, we need to put you here just for a little while until we figure out something. Which, I mean, so that I think was brought up, even is that even if they put him away, I think maybe Reed was saying that, or it was either Reed or Charles, and they were basically like, we could put you away until we find a cure for you. But Hulk is different than Banner. So like Hulk is like, a cure for me means you're gonna kill me, basically. Like I will cease to exist as Hulk.
Yeah.
And there will be only puny Banner.
Right.
So even presenting it to him that way, I think would have set him off a little bit. Like, no, fuck you. I'm the Hulk. You're either gonna take me as is, or you're not. Swagmaster, right now we're talking about the Planet Hulk / World War Hulk storyline. And so I don't think it would have been good at all to send him off on a planet. What do you think?
No, I don't neither. It is interesting though, because it's like, if you're one of the members and you don't have the relationship with the Hulk and are Bruce Banner too much, where you just only really team with him or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you look at the situation in more of a rational way, though, and you say to yourself, well, and then him coming back and displaying this kind of power is still one of those things where it's like, okay, well, what happened if this happened on Earth, that he somehow found the woman of his dreams here, or some Supergirl or superhero, whatever. He found the woman of his dreams here, and this happens here, and he gets this angry, and he goes on this rampage. This is what we was all afraid of, and sending him away. Obviously, it didn't even work because he came back. But I'm just saying, like, sending him away was probably the more rational thing to do, because if you're looking at it like, and again, I'm trying to play as devil's advocate here, he is a problem. Like, him losing control, him breaking everything, because again, you know, good old Big Grim.
A
He's
lot
busting
of
his butt out there.
That got knocked out first punch, bro.
Right.
That shit was so funny. They got one punch, bro. Oh, Lord. You know why? Because fuck the Fantastic Four.
Fuck them. But yeah. Like, yeah, no, but seriously, like, he is such a problem and such a threat that sending him away or doing something where you just get rid of him could be the better choice. But again, if I'm his friend or whatever, I'm definitely going to be on, and the whole grand scheme thing, it's not right to do that.
What if you need him in the future? What if you need Hulk? And now you don't have him.
That's true.
It's like, it's not a matter of like, I don't know, because I feel like even here, because as explained, right, even in the most furious that he's ever been, he's shown rationale and strategy, thoughtfulness, emotion, you know, just kind of explaining what he's doing, even though he's like ripping these people apart and everything. He's still taking the time to explain, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, you know, this is kind of your fault. here we go. I know how to defeat all of you, etc., and this is where I'm going for. He showed restraint with Charles. He showed restraint with Doctor Strange until he, came back and beat him and broke his hands.
Bitch.
Gotcha. Gotcha, bitch. So it's like, even if on Earth he had achieved this level of anger due to something that had happened, I don't know, a terrorist shoved a nuke up his wife's pussy or something, I don't know.
All right.
So even if he had gotten that angry, what I'm saying is, like, I feel like he would have been able to focus that anger towards the person in charge, the people responsible for it, and not just have gone off and destroyed an entire city that had nothing to do with it just because he could and he was angry and he was the Hulk.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. That's a very good point. But here's the thing. Up until that point, how many times have he shown that? Like, he's never really shown all those things to be mixed together. It's been maybe one or two, and he's definitely not really shown many moments of strategy. So up until that point, they're looking at it as he's just going to continue to be the Oonga Boonga monster, and he's just going to go crazy, and he's going to break everything. And if he goes super crazy, like, they were shocked at how smart this dude was. Like, it caught Tony and them, a lot of those guys off guard. It caught a lot of those guys off guard, and they was like completely shocked. Like, oh crap, he's doing this. Yeah. So that's one of those things where it's like they didn't know he was going to do all this and mix in all of these different traits. Sure. They just continue to think that he's just going to be a problem of him eventually going too crazy and going angry to the point where they're thinking he's not going to be able to control himself. He's going to lose it and he's going to go off. And if they can't stop him, he's going to wreck everything. And if he does come back to sense, it's going to be a point where it doesn't matter now. He's already caused so much and too much damage. Who cares whether or not he actually goes back to, being logical or whatever, go back to Banner, because he's already did what was needed. That's what they were looking at.
Right. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, the way that you put it too. I mean, it's definitely, it would definitely be a tough decision. But in that case, I mean, you have to look at it with all of those super OP,
100%.
Super people, like Sentry, who could go blow to blow with the Hulk. I mean, what happens if he decides to just? Yeah, and he's actually crazy, like legit. He, So if he decided one day that he was just gonna, he had a bad day working at Blockbuster or something, I don't know, and he just snaps. That could definitely present a problem. Johnny Storm could present a problem, being as he can get as hot as the sun and pretty much destroy Earth. He's one of the oldest.
What if a supervillain shows up who has the ability to make Johnny completely unstable, and he goes into that Nova mode and he just blows up in the middle of a city?
Yeah, I mean, so them singling out the Hulk. I mean, I get, it's for the story, but then them singling out the Hulk, I feel like is a little unfair, because a lot of the people sitting there in that room could arguably cause almost as much damage as the Hulk. They just don't have the track record of having done so. Yes.
Like when we talked about Wanda's story last week, we talked about House of M. Think about Wanda using Charles to see everybody's, thoughts and all that stuff.
And desires, right?
Think
about Charles. Charles could literally kill everybody immediately.
He really could. That dude could shut everybody's brain down that.
Just wipe them all out. Wanda could do it. They talked about getting rid of Wanda. They did talk about killing Wanda. So there was that. Magneto could pretty much destroy everything and anyone because of his control of metal, and he has displayed.
This dude can literally just take a bunch of satellites out of fucking space and just drop it down on different areas.
He's shown insane feats of strength and power before, so that's nothing. And really, who could fight Magneto? Who are you going to send after Magneto? I don't know. So there's Magneto, and then
he's also super smart himself. He's a very good strategist, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. Storm could wipe you out with a tidal wave. He could just take everything out. Like
Again,
that's insane too.
Powerful enough to go on other planets and control their weather. Like seriously, bruh.
So that's just my thoughts, but I really loved the story. I really enjoyed it. And I want to know what we are reading for this week going into next week. Have you thought about it at all?
I have not, man. That's a good question. But real quick though, I want to say this too though before I forget. It also comes into there like with the stuff with Days of Future Past or whatever and all that craziness with the whole Sentinels program. Where look at what they looked at all the crazy stuff the mutants can do, and I was like, yo, because remember that all happened because Mystique went out. I guess spoilers for whoever don't know the story. Again, want to always put spoilers in there just in case. I don't want nobody like, oh my god, he spoiled this, and I was going to read it tonight. So snuggled up with some hot cocoa and some
ready
chips.
to read it right now.
And then this bastard ruined it right when I was turning the first page. This all started because Mystique killed the president. Her and her team wiped out the president, and everything went crazy. And they're just like, all right, screw this. We need to stop this now. And then the whole Sentinel program went out there. And then what happened with that? The Sentinels end up actually making the most logical choice, technically, where obviously at first they was taking out mutants, and then they continued to become more and more sentient and more smarter. And they're like, wait a minute. Mutants are just the evolution of humans.
Yeah.
So humans should be targeted because if we just wipe their butts out, we don't have to worry about mutants. All right, time to target humans too. So I mean, like that's what happened. I mean,
basically
that's
the start of the Matrix, and the machines just take over. Well, wait a minute, we could just rule the whole world ourselves.
Yeah, why listen to these squishy weaklings? Like, why are we being controlled by them? We can run this.
I do enjoy the idea of like the Sentinel, like that whole storyline. Anytime that the Sentinels are involved is definitely a thought-provoking storyline, just because you are basically building a machine to kill on sight for no, like, just because they might present a threat. And they touched on it a little bit with Winter Soldier in AMCU, where they built that that whatever the thing in the sky that could basically just shoot you just because, you know, your statistics of committing crime were higher than someone else. So basically you're being killed because of something that you might do in the future. So something like that is just it's always like an ethical dilemma of, you know, should we take you out knowing that you're going to kill all these people? Like, should we go back in time and kill Hitler knowing that he was going to do all of this stuff just because we knew he was going to do it, or let it play out like it was supposed to? That kind of like, just that kind of idea and story. I always love reading that type of stuff.
I do too, because it's like when Batman got into the chair and his whole thing when he was controlled, and even though he was like the perfect addict too, because he was like telling telling Alfred, he was like, I can get out the chair anytime I want to. And Alfred's like, okay, sir, get out of the chair. And he's like, I don't want to. Shut up, Charles. I mean, take it. Shut up, Alfred. I don't want to get out of the chair right now. I can though, but I just don't want to right now.
Yeah, I can. I can. Anytime I wanted to, I can stop.
I'm there in my bat cape over there. Go do something. But yeah, like it was like that because he was sitting there like, well, I'm gonna take out these villains before they commit a crime because I can look into the likelihood of them committing it. But then even Green Lantern was like, well, is that right though? Because they didn't do anything, but they're going to, but they haven't yet. So that's like one of those perfect things.
Maybe they won't if we, you know, set them down a different path instead of just trying to take them out. That kind of thing. But maybe by setting them down a different path, that's actually what led them to be the villain to begin with. So that, like, that whole paradox and dilemma is just always fascinating to me, and I love it. Just I always like, one of the ones that I really love is that one that I just mentioned, where like you're trying to prevent something from happening, and that's what makes it happen to begin with.
Yes.
That's like my favorite type of paradox, and like in any kind of storyline, it's just like you are the creator of what you fear the most, basically.
One more thing real quick. I wanted to kind of get, I'm not going to get to it this time, maybe next week or something, but I wanted to really get a little more into Blue Marvel and John Stewart, the Black Green Lantern. Definitely with the Black History Month stuff. I wanted to get a little more in that. But real fast, at least on the Blue Marvel thing, I want your quick opinion on it. What do you think about the whole thing of like, remember, Blue Marvel was like this crazy great superhero. Obviously, it was back in the time where Kennedy was freaking president, but he was this great superhero helping everybody. And then when his mask got messed up and they saw he was a black man, Kennedy was like, "You can't be a superhero anymore," because the white people just are not with it. Like they turned on him. This dude just finished saving everybody. And then when they saw him was like, oh my God, that's a black man. They was like, no, nah. Screw everything you just did. Like, screw it. We don't want your help. We hate you. And Kennedy just like, I'm sorry, man. We'll give you this medal, but you can no longer be a hero or whatever.
Be a hero,
it's like, what do you think about that?
That's crazy, and I think that it's very brave writing.
Dude, that's what I want.
Yeah. It's super brave writing by the writers because they told it straight up. Like, this was the 60s. You still had separate fucking bathrooms. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the stupidest shit. And racism was definitely still rampant, in schools and everything like that. So for them to basically say the president of the United States even said you can't be a superhero because you're black, instead of going like the obvious route where it'd be like, oh, let's celebrate the fact that he's black. And they're like, no, let's make it real to the time and say fucking he can't do it no more because everyone revolted. I think is incredibly brave writing and should be celebrated because they took that risk.
I fully agree with you, man. And it sucks because I really feel that Blue Marvel does not get, like, no one ever talks about him.
You know what? Let's read Blue Marvel for next week then.
Yeah, that's what we should do. We should do some. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do some Blue Marvel because no one really talks about this guy, and it's so hard to find good any real YouTuber really talking about him. It's like one like, oh well, Blue Marvel, like he's done some definitely feats wise. Like ask Hulk about what this dude can do. Like this dude has done some amazing feats, and it's just like no one ever really brings him up when they talk about the strongest heroes. They never bring him up, and he should be definitely up there with those guys
for sure.
All the time.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. He is one of the strongest. And then that's why like him and Monica Rambeau together would be like the most overpowered couple of all time. Like just period. There cannot be a more OP couple than Blue Marvel and Monica Rambeau as Spectrum or Photon or Captain Marvel or whatever you want to name her as. Those two would just be crazy. So let's definitely read some Blue Marvel. Now I'm excited to read some more Blue Marvel. It gives me an excuse to do that. So let's read Blue Marvel for next week for sure. I don't know, anything else you want to wrap up? I know we're approaching an hour here.
Yeah, I think we are. No, nothing. We're almost there. Nothing too crazy outside of just a little tiny bit on I really think to be fair though, Jon Stewart gets a lot more credit and a lot more, people bring him up a lot more. And I think what helped him out though, and what Blue Marvel did not really get the opportunity to do, when they did the Justice League anime, they didn't pick Hal Jordan, they put Jon Stewart in there.
Okay.
And what was funny, the only time you really saw Hal Jordan in the beginning Justice League thing was in one of the episodes where they had like some crazy stuff happen, and like Hal Jordan showed up for a very little while, but it's Jon Stewart. They picked him, and at first when it happened, that was kind of like a bold move there too, because everybody was like, "Where's Hal? Who is this black guy? What's going on here?" But they picked him, and then his popularity shot up. Right. They booked him strong. They made him look really good in the series. There was one thing where this is a spoiler a little bit. I'm not gonna go into the episode, and it's gonna be really quick. But this is a spoiler. And James, I still want you to watch the series. I really do. But this is a little quick spoiler
for sure.
Yes, there was one of the episodes. Something happens where Superman is gone, and a villain end up killing all the Justice League. And he was like, "Well, Superman, if you was here, you might have been able to stop me. You probably would have been the only one who can." they made sure they pointed out the last person standing and the person who gave him the most trouble. It wasn't Wonder Woman. It was John Stewart. He was like the Lantern's the one who gave me the most trouble and was the last man standing. Everybody else wiped him out. Like, they booked him that strong. They made him a legit like threat, and it was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So, I just want to bring it up a little
bit. Always enjoyed John Stewart, like, reading wise, more than I enjoyed Hal, because Hal was just a dick, like, all the time.
He really is. Because, like, what's really funny, even in that even in that stuff with Batman, because I'm, with the cheer and everything, and when Hal Jordan was doing his own thing, and he got like a really huge power up, he was, the decisions he made and the stuff that he did is just kind of just like, someone else would have did better. Someone else would have made a much smarter and better move. Like, a lot of the stuff Hal Jordan does, you just sit there and just say, what the hell, man? And yeah, he's kind of a dick too. Like, he's kind of a dick.
Kind of. Yeah, he is.
He is.
Like, he's a womanizer. He's a jerk. He's all the smart ass remarks that he always making. He's definitely, I would say he's definitely a dick. But with or without the ring, like, I think they've made that clear multiple times that they've done his origin, that he was a dick before and he continued to be a dick with the power. So,
That's true. The power just give him an excuse to be even a bigger dick, because he's like, I can knock your ass out with my green fist.
Yeah,
that I just imagined.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cock slap you with a giant green dildo.
Hey,
can you imagine? Can you imagine you're like trying to rob a bank or whatever, and then out of nowhere, a giant green penis just slaps you across the face? So it must be Hal Jordan again.
So there's Hal Jordan again, smacking people with his green dick. So what you're telling me is that if you had the ring and somebody was robbing the bank, that's what you would do.
100% that is what I would do. There wouldn't even be hesitation, dude. I would 100% be beating up supervillains with like a giant green floppy dick with the power ring, dude.
Sloppy.
Dude, like, they'd be like, they cover me on the news and it's just be like a huge blur because of like, I'm beating these people with a giant green dildo. No, that's 100% what I would do. I'd be the most immature motherfucker with that ring. I swear to God.
Well, it's good to know what you would do with superpowers.
100%, yeah. At least I'm beating up the bad guys. At least I'm not robbing the bank with a giant green dildo. You know what I mean? Because that'd be even worse. And tonight at 9, we talk about the.
You just see like a bunch of money, or at least back in those days, gold or whatever, just on top of a giant green dick, just going out of a bank. Like, what the hell?
Oh my God, that'd be too fucking funny.
The cops would have to shoot you in your dick.
You'd be like,
they would have to.
Johnson, we can't take out the dick. Every bullet keeps getting slapped away. Yeah. I'd even talk with that voice the whole time. Like, yeah, see? Trying to defeat my giant dildo dick, did you? Yeah.
God.
Fool me once. Shame on you. But anyways, we are going to read some Blue Marvel and some Hal Jordan. Not Hal Jordan, goddammit. Some John Stewart for next week. For those of you who have tuned in this long, thank you. I will be having an Instagram auction tomorrow night on Instagram at Comics for Cheap, and going into a claim sale on Wednesday, which should be a lot of fun. And we have the finale that we're talking about. Justin and I will be talking about the WandaVision finale on Friday on YouTube. And I have a fun little video coming out this week about the series Grizzly Shark, which I'm very excited to talk about, because it's like it's a very, very funny short series that's doesn't get the love it deserves. So that's what's on my docket for this week. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and as always, Chris,
fuck the Fantastic Four.
That's right.